Sino yung hindi pupunta?
Gusto ka sa amin kung ipadawag na sila, na Senado, kay Senator Leila, in-advise ko ba sila, pero Rosa, pumunta, o huwag na lang pumunta. Dahil sabi nga ni Presidente, baka mapahiyan na sila.
The Office of the Solicitor General will be the first line of defense. We will assess whether the investigation is really in aid of legislation. If it is not, then we will advise the PNP not to attend.
Next question will come from George State. Follow-up.
Sir, paano natin mag-engage kung yun parang provincial violation?
Come again?
Paano natin mag-engage kung in aid of legislation?
There has to be, first of all, there are certain requisites in order to be validly called in aid of legislation. Meron ng decided case dito, yung Benson case. So pag wala doon yung mga, hindi nila natupad yung mga criteria doon, hindi po yon in aid of legislation.
Next will be George Calida of CNN Philippines, to be followed by Bea Kutin from Rappler.
Sir, good morning. Sir, you said that there's always a presumption of regularity.
Yes.
And unless it's open,
Correct.
does that mean that there are some people who challenge yung operations ng police? Kasi John Dela Rosa was mentioning earlier that he will not want to make extrajudicial police.
Yes.
So that only means to identify if it's, there's would be regular na ginawa nila if it's challenged by someone. So,
Yes.
would that be the case, sir?
Kasi ganito po yan. He who alleges must prove. If you are alleging that there is salvaging, you have to prove it. If you cannot prove it, the presumption of regularity in the performance of duty will apply.
So, in short, sir, yun nga, encourage yung taong bayan na this din sa palagay nila is hindi regular na nila.
I-prove nila. Prove nila.
The next question will come from Bea.
Ay.
I believe Senator Leila mentioned something about some of the cases, sir, apparent yung signs of summary execution. Of course, it didn't really go into detail just yet, but parang wouldn't not showing up in a way that impeding Congress, the Senate, from doing their function to hold in place the
There cannot be investigation based on speculations. She has to prove it.
But sir, wouldn't the hearing be an avenue further to expound on these allegations?
But there are certain rules and jurisprudence on what is a valid investigation in aid of legislation. Hindi pwedeng because they suspect that ganito, ganon. Those are just hypothetical situations.
Next question will come from Glenn Wego, DZBB.
Yes, sir. Sir, what are your thoughts, sir? Sinasabi po ni Senator Leila na parang imposible naman yata na lahat ng suspect marunong mag-agaw ng baril at gagawin nila yun.
Well, siguro hindi pa niya nasubukan na humitip ng shabu. Let her experience how a drug-crazed person will react. It's not normal.
Henry Atwelan, DZMM.
Sir, familiar ba kayo kay Peter na ginabanggit ng Presidente the same person yung discount
Hindi ko siya personally kilala. But based on intelligence information given to the President, he's in the top tier, level 5 drug lord. Ang kanyang area of operation is Visayas.
siya ba yung tinatawag dati sa Congress?
Tinatawag, yung House Committee on Dangerous Drugs. I do not personally know kung siya yun.
Sir, hindi convicted kung si Peter Lim.
Well, the Peter Lim in the top tier at the level 5, hindi pa. But hopefully, mahuhuli din namin siya.
Next question will come from Kim Cardenas of IBC 13.
Sir, going back to sa Senate investigation, can you give us kahit some of the guidelines ko na sinasabi ko, para mapatunayan na in aid of legislation na po yung investigation and what if na release po ng subpoena yung Senate. Di ba wala na yung magagawa but to attend yung mga invite po ng mga personalities.
Let me refer you to the case of Benson versus the Senate. No? Hindi po in aid of legislation ito. Kung, number one, marami ng batas dito sa alleged legislative initiative nila. Actually, marami na po tayong batas dito. We don't have to reinvent the wheel anymore. At saka, what's the real motive here? Is it to embarrass the president? Is it to derail the momentum against the drug trafficking in this country? So there are many questions. We would like to be satisfied if this is really in aid of legislation. If it is in aid of media mileage, we will oppose it.
Last question will come from Bea. O sige ma'am. Follow up? May mag-follow up? Okay, the last two questions will come from Alvin Baltazar and the last one will come from Franz. Coaching PNP, sige mo.
Solgen,
Yes.
Sir, ang office po ba ng Solicitor General kayo kapangyarihan mag-investiga si Lima kung ano yung nagawa niya ng DOJ Secretary?
Alam niyo, ang Office of the Solicitor General, specifically the Solicitor General, has two functions. He's the lawyer of the Republic of the Philippines and therefore its counsel and defender. The Solicitor General is also a tribune, meaning to say he can be the defender of the people of the Philippines. So in both capacity, I will exercise my powers.
Sir, paano kung may subpoena? Di ba tayo natatakot na kung hindi pa pupuntahin yung mga policemen na pinatawag, masaside sila for contempt?
We will cross the bridge when we get there.
Okay, question from Franz Noguera of TV5.
Sir, do you think kapag natuloy yung investigation, Senate investigation, this will encourage cases to be filed against personnel?
Against the PNP, you mean?
Kapag natuloy yung investigation, encourage yun na ma-file na ng kaso yung mga.
We are not afraid kung sino man mag-file ng kaso. We are ready to defend the PNP.
But 6 years after, sir, kasi lalo na yung mga murder, cases, pwede ka naman siya after 6 years, diba? After na-term ni President Duterte, syempre, hindi tayo assured na yung next na susunod na administration will be magbaback up pa rin sa PNP. So, baka posible na balikan sila after 6 years. What can you say about it?
It is the duty of every president to protect the people under him if they are doing their job legally and within bounds of law. So if a president in the future, and I will not venture to speculate now, will not support the PNP, he should not be elected as president in the first place.
Sir, just to follow up, alarming na po ba yung bilang ng mga nakakasumang mga police because of allegedly intensified efforts against drugs, criminality, and corruption?
As far as I know, wala pang ganong magnitude, but it will lead to that if we will not make a stand to defend the police when they're doing their jobs.
So, sir, you're saying po na yung mga kaso ngayon na mga napapatay na suspect, lahat yun in-defect mo? Lahat yun in-defect?
Because of the regularity, the presumption of regularity, yes, unless proven otherwise.
Okay? Leila?
Sir, pa-clarify lang po. Sir, may kakayahan ba ang Solgen na pa-investigahan ang isang senador?
Remember, I'm a tribune. I have the power.
Sir, hanggang saan po natin pa-investigahan ang senador? Kasi
We will, hindi yung investigation leading to filing of cases in courts. Yes, we have power.
Sir, are you planning to file a case against Senator Lima in relation to what you were saying earlier about the proliferation of drugs during her term as president?
We are studying it carefully.
Okay. Last question from Bea. Would that be
Report everything that is Mr. General talks about grabbing, talks reassures the PNP of the government support. Did you see that Senator Lima's announcement of her plans to file to trigger illegal legislation? Is it a threat to the PNP?
Well, in effect, it dampens the morale of our men in uniform. They're risking their lives. And here comes this senator who is based on speculations. He is maligning the good name and reputation of the police officers who put their lives on the line. Okay?
Question for
Wala na?
Wala na po.
Oh, sige. Thank you very much.
Okay, three. Can we have three questions?
Ano? Every day that we see the Solicitor General come to background and face the media and assure the PNP of their support. Sa'yo, Sir Russell, nakita mo ba as a threat yung sabi ni Senator General na she plans to launch an inquiry on the PNP? Threat ba yun to the PNP?
Yes, as what the Solgen said, it dampens the morale of our PNP personnel. But right now, since nire-reassure ni Solgen yung ating kapulisan na andyan yung Office of the Solicitor General to defend any case to be filed or being filed against our operating personnel, so high moral yung kapulisan. So ngayon, I am openly encouraging our people. Sulong mga kapatid. Walang atrasan ito. Sulong. Dahil the momentum is on our side. We cannot afford to waste this momentum. Marami na po, libo-libo na po ang nagsusurrender. Marami na po ang namamatay. So, ano pa? Ihinto tayo? Ibibiti natin yung ating kampanya. So what will happen to our 3 to 6 months na palugit, yung time frame na binigay sa atin ng ating mahal na Pangulo. So please continue the fight. The momentum is ours. So go ahead. Andito po kami para suportahan kayo. Basta remember, huwag lang kayo mag-abuso. Kailangan legitimate police operations lahat. Yan po ang aking guidance sa inyo. Huwag kayong malumural. Dapat high moral tayo ngayon.
Sisma.
Nakahanap ng campaign sa Solgen ang PNP ko. So, pinagpapatuloy nyo yung ginagawa nila ngayon. So, pero ano pong measures ang kailangan implement ng PNP naman ko para masigurong legitimate natin operation, walang butas, at walang agam-agam yung ating kababayan?
Wala po akong gagawing measures na sa ongoing campaign natin. I presume that all that they are doing are regular. Presumption in the regularity of the performance of duty. So, unless meron kayong nakikitang kamalian, then you can challenge the regularity of that operation. You can challenge anytime. Basta kami sa ngayon, there's no stopping us in our campaign. Abante kami, hindi kami atras.
Pero sir, lahat ng counter-check. Kumbaga, sa inyo, wala na kayong gagawin.
Wala. As I have said, meron tayong mga disciplinary mechanisms na in place na. Kung alam nilang ginagawang kalokohan, then you file the necessary case. Meron tayong IAS, Internal Affairs Service. They can go to the NAPOLCOM for any grievances.
Leila, your TV.
Ulitin ko, yung kwan dyan is, mahirap yung utos ka ng utos sa mga tauhan mo na abante, lumaban ka. Tapos at the same time, yung isang kamay ng tauhan mo, tinatali mo sa likod. So yung suntok niya, isang kamay lang. He cannot fight properly. So, larga, in-encourage mo silang lumaban. Lumaban kayo with all your might, with all your capability. Huwag niyong itali yung isang kamay ninyo. Basta, Lagay nyo palagi sa utak ninyo na ang ginagawa ninyo ay legitimate. Huwag kayong mag-abuso. You always observe the police operational procedure. Gawin niyo properly yung trabaho ninyo. At there's no way na mabubutasan tayo. Basta trabaho lang. Remember, you are dealing with the criminals who are wala sa tamang pag-iisip. Isipin nyo, nire-rape nga nila yung bata na 3 years old. Nire-rape na yung matanda na almost 80 years old na. Nire-rape nila. O may tamang pag-iisip ba yan? Pwede ka rin, anytime, pwede ka niyang saksakin, pwede ka niyang barilin, pwede kang agawan ng baril, dahil wala sa tamang pag-iisip. Pwede silang tumalon sa sasakyan habang tumatakbo. Pwede silang tumalon from 10-story building, 10th floor. Pwede silang tumalon doon. So anything can happen pag ganito ang kalaban natin. Walang tamang pag-iisip.
Ms. Leila Ilagan.
Yeah.
Sir, inutos na ni Secretary Speno ang lifestyle check sa mga PNP personnel. Tapos po ba kayo ng isang grupo para magsagawa nito? At hanggang saan po yung isasailalim natin sa lifestyle check? Hanggang PO1 ba yan? From General to PO1?
Again, hindi pa ko nabigyan ni SILG ng guidelines pertaining to that, but I would like to assure the public that everyone in the PNP, from the chief PNP down to the lowest PO1, ay open po sa lifestyle check. Hindi, wala kami itatago. Kailang open kaming lahat. Siguro ang mag-oppose niyan ay yung mga pulis na mayroong tinatago. Yung may mga tinatagong kayamanan, mga ari-arian, sigurado ko mag-uupos yan. Pero my stand on that, my take on that is we're open. You can do anything you want. Open po yung aming halay para mag-conduct ng lifestyle check. Para naman, malaman talaga natin kung sino yung mga sindikatong pulis. Okay.
Last question from Marie Sumali.
Sige, pagbigyan mo.
Your reaction sa sinabi ng Amnesty International that PNP is moderating with vigilantism. And also, can I get your reaction sa sinasabi sa mata lang po na operation? Parang 3 out of the 8 daw na napatay ay sumuko na, no? Mga sumuko, pero all the 8 were still killed.
Again, sabi ko nga sa kanila, kung meron sila nakitang mali doon sa operation, they can file a case. Hindi yung nilalahat nila, nagiging speculation yan, na sinasabi nila, ganito daw, ganito, gano'n. File the necessary case. Again, I must give you the assurance na ako po'y ayaw ng vigilantism. Kung meron kayong vigilante dyan, I can be the vigilante against the vigilante. I must give you that assurance. I will be vigilant against vigilantes. Ayaw ko yun. Ayaw ko yung mga ginagawa. Ang gusto ko po, lahat ay above board. Lahat ay legitimate operations. I do not condone vigilantism.
Ms. Franz.
Sabi nyo, yung mga hindi naman tiwalay sa PNP, won't propose yung lifestyle check. But he will initiate yung lifestyle check. Ever po i-initiate natin, kailan magsisimula?
Hintayin ko muna, as I've said, hintayin ko muna yung guidance galing kay SILG dahil pag kami naman kasi ang magkakandak ng lifestyle check sa aming sarili, baka magiging self-serving, di ba? Parang hindi maganda tingnan. Anyway, tingnan ko lang kung anong magagawa namin tungkol dyan. Basta kami were open anytime.
So you suggest third party yung mag-conduct ng lifestyle check?
Hindi ko naman sasabi third party, from within the chain of command. Siguro, kung hindi pwede sa label ng PNP dahil yun nga, maraming tatamaan ng mga tao namin sa loob ng organisasyon at magiging questionable yung resulta, then it can be based sa taas sa label, Napolcom. Si SILG naman, ang chairman ng Napolcom. So pwede siguro ang Napolcom. But I don't think yung tagalabas dahil marami dyan, alam mo na, at the same time, while I want transparency, at the same time, dipinsahan ko rin yung hanay ng kapulisan from any abuse coming from the outside. Lalo na ngayon na marami pong mga drug lords dyan na may koneksyon. Sigurado ako, titirahin kami dyan sa kanilang mga koneksyon. Konektado yan sila from the fiscals to the judges to the Congress, to the, pati sa media, makakunik sila. Hindi lang nyo alam. Nagagamit kayo ng ibang drug lord dyan para sa kanilang objective. Nasisira ng kapulisan. Yan ang gusto nila. Yan ang gusto nila na malulumura ng pulis, kasuhan nila kaliwa kanan para mag-slow down kami sa aming effort. But no, with the assurance of our Solgen, abante kami, walang atrasan.
Sir, pero nabanggit nyo na rin yung media, naniniwala pa kayo dun sa sinasabi rin ni spokesperson ng media na may mga media na kasama sa illegal drug trade?
Maybe, wittingly or unwittingly, merong nagagamit sa inyo. I want to be honest with you. Ito mahabang discussion, pero i-discuss ko sa inyo later. Pag kumpleto na yung aming data, i-discuss ko sa inyo kung paano yung gumagalaw yung kanila mga facilitators na sinasabi.
So possible kaya sa meeting
Okay lang.
si President Duterte may media ba?
Hindi ko pa nakita kasi marami yung lista niya.
Sige po.
Sir, can you give us update sa 200 na local officials who are on the street voting laws? Can you give us an update?
Na kay Mayor yan. Hintayin na lang natin kung i-announce ni Mayor yan.
Where are you in the investigation?
Will-
Ha?
In the initial investigation, where are you?
Wala pa. Hintayin ko yung lista pag ibibigay na sa amin.
Sige
Sir,
po.
campaign funds ba na ginamit na galing sa drug lords, campaign funds, pwedeng nagaling sa mga...
Oo. Ang daming mayor dyan na nanalo dahil sa kanilang drug money. Meron.
Sa 200 na yun, sir, possible.
Hindi naman lahat, pero basta meron yung we are going into narco-politics nga eh. Pag hindi natin ito maagapan, narco money will be used in the politics. So, narco-politics ang mangyayari sa atin.
Sige po. Maraming pong salamat. The Chief PNP has been scheduled. Thank you so much for coming. Muli po. Salamat.
Thank you. Salamat.
Thank you for your breakfast.
Sir, kinsa yung trigger mo then?
Thank you very much.
For interview, for a reaction. So maybe I'll just answer questions probably. Morning.
Ma'am, have you read or napanood niyo ba yung sinabi ni
Hindi
Solgen?
ko napanood kasi palabas ako sa isang network after an interview. And then bigla nila akong pinabalik because meron nga daw mga sinabi the Solicitor General in their press con kanina at the PNP. So they told me some of those statements that he made and asked for my reaction. So he made several yung kanyang mga sinabi, no?
Ma'am, would you like to react yung una, yung proliferation daw ng drugs during your time as TOJ Secretary?
Kasalanan ko yun? Are they accusing me na ako may kasalanan? And then tingnan nyo na lang, what I can say is that balikan nyo na lang yung mga ginawa ko rin. Alam nyo naman siguro, for example, in the Believing, sino ba ang gumawa ng hakbang at sino ba ang gumawa ng konkretong hakbang para i-address yung mga napapabalita ng pamamayagpag ng mga drug lords inside Believing. Ilang beses ko na yan sinasabi na nung naka-receive kami noon ng mga intel reports about dun sa mga ginagawa nga ng mga ilang convicts sa Believing, I had to convene an interagency meeting and we met several times and pinabalidate ko yung mga intel reports na yan na di umano may mga convicts na were still plying their drug trade while inside the penitentiary. So nung na-validate, ang next step, linano namin kung ano ba dapat gawin. May mga options. And then yung option na kung saan meron kaming consensus was gawin nga yung raid na yon. The major raid which happened in December 15 of 2014, where I personally led that major raid. Hindi madali yun. Dahil, dangerous. Kung meron nga mga namatay doon, karga ko yun. But fortunately, the operation went well, very smoothly. And then, nung natuklasan nga namin yung mga ganon ng mga pamumuhay nila sa loob, yung mga luxurious lifestyle ng kanilang mga kupol, ay linipat muna namin yung Bilibid 19 to the NBI detention facility. Dahil hindi namin alam kung saan sila ilalagay sa Bilibid. So, naghanap kami ng isang lugar sa Bilibid na kung saan pwede sila talaga ilagay. So, ang tinuro sa akin noon by the then director, si Frank Bucayo, was building 14. So, inumpisahan yung renovation, and then in the meantime, a new Bucor director came in, and that is Director General Rainier Cruz. So, nung natapos yung renovation ng Building 14, si DG Cruz na, si Director Rainier Cruz na yung director. So, pinalik namin from the NBI detention facility, the Bilibid 19. And the Building 14 used to house the death row convicts. But pinarenovate ko and converted into a more secure facility. Pinalagyan ng mga CCTV and other measures were put in place to ensure na hindi na uli nakakapag-transact. Kasi ang pagtra-transact nila was through cell phones and other communication gadgets. Hindi naman po totoo na doon mismo sa loob ng Bilibid linuluto ang shabu o kung ano mang klaseng droga. Wala po kaming nahanap na ganun. Halos imposible po yun. Except if lahat magkakakuntsaba from the director up to the lowest ranking employee of the Bucor. But that's not the case. May mga nagluloko dyan, pero hindi naman siguro lahat. Karamihan siguro nagluloko, especially the prison guards. Now, and then they will blame me for the proliferation of drugs. Hindi naman siguro tama yun.
Nag-threaten pa po ang Solicitor General na magpa-file ng kaso against you dahil daw po sa proliferation ng drugs.
Ano ikakaso nila sa akin? I'm also involved in drugs. Ganun ba yun? Hindi na ako magtataka kung ganun ang kanilang next move. They will start labeling me as a protector or a cuddler also of drugs. It's crazy.
Ma'am, Ma'am, may reason na ba kayo para dun sa gusto niyong paimbestigahan yung ginagawa?
Yes, we have a draft resolution already.
When are you filing it?
Isasama ko po yan dun sa second set of bills that I'll be. Alam niyo naman yung naging procedure na yun, no? Nagtapos na yung first round of the filing of bills. I'm waiting for my turn with respect to the second round. So isasama ko na po. There's a draft resolution already.
Ma'am, concerning this resolution, sinabi po ni Solgen Calida na it doesn't seem that it's for aid of
legislation.
in aid of
That's not for him
legislation.
to say that.
Sabi po niya for
Sigurado ako
media
sa sarili ko. Sigurado pa ako in filing the resolution that it will be in aid of legislation. Of course, I know what is the nature of Senate inquiry. I've read the rules. It's in the Constitution. It's in the rules. It is a Senate inquiry in aid of legislation. Napakalawak, very broad po ang authority ng Senate or any of its committees to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation. And in fact, I reviewed again the rules. Ay talagang malawak because it's about, you know, an inquiry that can be a re-examination of existing laws, an inquiry that is in connection with a proposed legislation, in other words, nandyan na yung proposed bill, or even an inquiry in aid of formulating a future legislation. So ganun ka broad, and time and again, the Supreme Court has upheld the powers of the Senate or any of its committees to conduct an inquiry. So nagkaroon na tayo ng maraming Senate inquiries sa mga very important issues in the country. Marami na, mga high-profile incidents, high-profile cases, important issues and matters. And now they're saying that the thrust and the subject of my proposed inquiry is not important enough. And they will say it's not in aid of legislation.
So, ma'am, are you not worried na baka hindi padaluhin yung mga resource person like PNP Chief Dela Rosa?
Nasa sa kanila na yan, but they have to take, you know, the consequences. We have contempt powers, as you know.
But what about the possibility that they see you as one of the obstructionists to the advocacies of President?
I'm not an obstructionist. Ang nakikita lang kasi nila, you know, like this issue. Siyempre, alam nila na I'm against death penalty, and definitely I'm against extrajudicial and summary killings. Pero hindi naman ibig sabihin kukontra na ako sa lahat na magiging hakbang, sa lahat na plano ng kasalukuyang administrasyon. Marami rin naman na mga susuportahan ko. You want examples? FOI. You know, FOI, and then of course the creation of that super body to investigate media killings, although meron na mo yan during the time of President Aquino, yung AO35, Interagency Committee, and it's good that this administration is also forming its own super body on that. And yung mga anti-red tape, well, of course, in address how to address the traffic situation, the traffic crisis. Although titingnan ko na muna kung yung panukalang emergency, you know, the bill granting emergency powers to the president would be acceptable. Depende po yan sa parameters of that bill. As to emergency powers, kasi hindi naman mo basta-basta binibigay ang emergency powers. Yung mga, you know, the resumption of peace talks, the going after the Abu Sayyaf. Marami naman ho tayong sinusuportahan. Kaya nga, one of my objectives in pushing for the Senate inquiry into the spate of drug killings is how to be able to help in terms of strengthening this fight, this campaign, without sacrificing human rights and without the law enforcers being forced to break the law.
Ma'am, what can you say that Calida and also Senator Lacson are parang asking for an evidence before you file arrest or before calling for a hearing? Parang not enough daw na may reso or baka daw speculation lang na may irregular.
Unang-una ngayon ko lang po naririnig yan na kailangan muna ng tinatawag na complaint with supporting evidence bago magsagawa ng Senate inquiry. It's not in the rules. And then, pangalawa, marami namang mga Senate inquiry noon na wala pang mga kaso na pinafile. Pero nagkakandak na ang Senate ng inquiry. Examples, Mama Sapano, PDAF, Kidapawan. The conduct of Senate inquiry Pina-research ko po, pina-review ko, the conduct of Senate inquiry in those 3 cases that I mentioned was prior to the filing of the formal complaints. Mama Sapano, if I'm not mistaken, the resolution as filed by several senators, including Senator Grace Po, was filed 2 days after the Mama Sapano incident, which happened January 25. And then the charges against those found to be responsible for that were filed months later. Right? PDAF, ganun din. August, yung pag-file ng Senate resolution calling for an inquiry. If I'm not mistaken, it was Senator Chis Escudero. The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee conducted that, but it was only in September na nag-file ng formal complaint ang NBI. Kidapawan, ganun din yata. A few days earlier, yung conduct of the first inquiry, sinundan a few days later ng filing of administrative or criminal complaints. So, why the insistence now of a prior filing of the complaint when it's not in the rules and certain precedents show otherwise? And kung naghahanap sila ng formal complaint, ituturo ko po sa kanila yung complaint ngayon na nasa CHR na. Diba? Meron na nag-file ng complaint, yung galing sa, yung about the Pasay City, yung mag-ama na namatay. So that's a complaint. In fact, I'll be getting from CHR the data. Baka meron pang iba na mga complaints other than yung recent complaint na yan na final.
Ma'am, strong yung statement kanina yung Solgen, Calida. Sabi niya parang poprotektahan daw nila yung mga pulis, huwag silang matatakot sa Senate hearing. So kung hindi ho sila...
That's okay. I mean, okay lang naman yan. Because itong pagpupush ko nga for Senate inquiry, hindi ko naman layunin dyan para pahinaan ang loob, ang law enforcers natin. Gusto ko silang palakasin. And how do you do that? To ensure na ginagawa nila ay tama, ayon sa batas, ayon sa mga existing guidelines. Kaya nga, kung confident po ang ating mga kapulisan and this administration na above board ang lahat ng kaso na yan ng killings of drug suspects, then they should welcome any and all inquiries that are being conducted or will be conducted. Kasi iba-iba naman ang thrust ng mga inquiry na yan. Iba ang thrust ng CHR, iba ang thrust ng NAPOLCOM, and then the PNP's own inquiry, if there is, and then Senate inquiry. They should welcome that. Kung sigurado po sila na above board lahat yan. Yan nga aalamin natin. Lahat ba yan above board?
It's even proper for the Solgen na magsalita ng ganyan for the PNP. Kasi kung dati, defender pa nga ng Senate ang Solgen in some cases na umabot sa Supreme Court like the EU 464.
Exactly. So I'm just wondering also why the Solgen is this Solgen has that now.
Ma'am, may personal ba kayong alitan?
I don't know him. I just know him to be a former USEC of DOJ. Hindi ko alam kung sino yung secretary nor. I think Secretary Raul Gonzalez. So I've never met him. Hindi ko na siya naabutan na USEC ng DOJ. So I don't know him personally. So I don't see any reason why she should be so hostile.
Kasama po ba sa role ng Solgen, ma'am, to speak for the PNP or defend the PNP?
Well, ibabalik ko din sa kanila yung may kaso na ba sa kanya? Meron ba siyang hinahawakan na kaso? Para dependahan niya o depensahan niya ang PNP?
Ma'am, ang reason for the bus from the ballot,
I wouldn't know. I would not want to speculate on that. I wouldn't know.
Ma'am,
Do you see any reason,
Sinabi lang naman ako.
parang this early, meron ng certain effort to dissuade you from conducting the investigation of the summary killings?
Well, yun ang pinagkakataka ko. Why is there such a reaction? As I said, if they're confident na above board lahat yan, sinusunod yung mga dapat sundin, yung mga patakaran, batas, lalo na yung saligang batas, bakit ganyan ang reaction nila?
Ma'am, yung sa past...
But I will not be intimidated. I will still push for my proposal to conduct Senate inquiry unless i-overrule ako ng karamihan ng aking mga colleagues. Ano magagawa ko?
Ma'am, may binabang...
Kung halimbawa, they will overrule me.
Ma'am, may binabanggit sa Senator Ping na baka kung mapunta sa Committee on Public Order, hindi siya mabilis magtatawag ng hearing.
That's his prerogative. That's his prerogative. But yung Committee on Justice and Human Rights, isang tamang committee rin yan dapat mag-imbestiga yan. It can also be a joint. It can also be a joint inquiry ng relevant committees.
Ma'am, yung sa Pasay incident, yung mag-ama, ano bang basa niya doon? Kasi ito, na-aresto midnight and then afternoon patay.
Yun na nga. There are several of those. That's why I said there are telltale signs na doon sa ilang kaso ng mga pagpatay, mga napapabalita, ay posible na summary killings. Nakakaduda yung mga karamihang eksplanasyon ng agaw ng laban. And then yung mga hindi lang yung mga namamatay in the course of police operations, legitimate or not, kundi yung mga natatagpuan na lang dyan ng mga salvage na mga di umano mga drug suspects din. So sino mga pumapatay dyan? Vigilantes? Kasama yan sa investigasyon.
Pero do you think this has something to do with your belonging to the other side of the political fence?
I don't know. I really don't know. And bakit sasabihin nila yon on the other side of the political fence? Nakasama naman ako sa majority as part of the LP bloc. Diba? I'm part of the majority and that is why I am supporting the Senate presidency bid of Senator Coco.
Pero there was this early warning.
That's his opinion. We do not agree. Tsaka alam niyo naman ang Senate, kasi Senate will not and cannot be rubber stamp. So, even if karamihan sa amin nasa majority, pagdating naman sa pagtalakay ng mga major pieces of legislation, makikita niyo na may kanya-kanya kaming posisyon dyan. But of course, it would be in many cases, it would be by consensus. In many cases, it would be consultative. We would be consulting each other. But, at the end of the day, sarili naming mga posisyon ang ipapakita namin. And that's how it is, and that should be the case.
Ma'am, dun po sa Alcatraz-like penal colony, are you going to vote for that proposal?
Alcatraz?
Opo.
Agree po ako na magkaroon tayo ng isang facility na para masiguro na yung ating mga prisoners, lalo na yung mga high risk, which include also these drug convicts, ay nababantayan ng gusto. Pero must it be an Alcatraz-like facility? Of course not. Hindi na po, there's no such thing anymore under our modern correctional system. Kaya nga wala ng Alcatraz din sa US eh. Meron na din mga relevant UN guidelines on the treatment, minimum treatment of prisoners. At hindi kasama dyan, ito totally isolate to the extent na hindi na pwedeng bisitahin ang mga yan ng kanilang mga mahal sa buhay. Experience would show that yung mga talagang totally isolated, yun ang mga lalo silang nagiging hardened criminals. There are studies to that effect. So you are not at all working for their reformation or possible reformation kung ganyan ang sistema. Complete isolation. Hindi na po uso yan. Okay, thank you very much.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, would you like to react yung... Oh, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes.
For the decision tomorrow, kasi na tribunal.
Well, I have expressed my confidence na favorable for the most part ang magiging ruling. Of course, there are several issues presented there. The main issue is yung validity nga ng 9- claim or 9- theory ng China, which according to our position or per our position is violative of the UNCLOS. Yun pinakamalaking bagay yan. If there is such a ruling from the arbitral tribunal saying that the 9- line theory is inconsistent with UNCLOS or has no basis in UNCLOS. So let's wait, and then depending nga kung ano ang ruling ng arbitral tribunal, the administration should be able to study what should be the next best steps. Thank you.
yeah.